Are you looking to grow your local business? Well, welcome to Live and Local. My name is Nick Palkowski, and I'm very excited you can be here because on this show, our big goal is to help you grow your local business while using live streaming. Again, I'm your host, Nick Palkowski, and this is
Brian Lawton. Welcome.
And thank you for joining us. Right now, we are in the pre-show of our very first episode of Live and Local, so we're super excited. We got things up and running now, which is awesome. But really what we're going to do here in this pre-show is a chance to make sure everything's running the way it's supposed to. It's a chance for more people to start joining us as Facebook kind of lets people know that, hey, they have a live stream going on, come join. And then this is going to be a chance for us on a weekly basis to engage with some of you, the viewers. And we're going to have a question of the day regularly. So today, to kind of start things off, our big question of the day is, what business are you in? So Brian, I guess let's kind of just dive in. Tell us just very briefly, I know we're going to get to more of it in the actual show, but what business are you in?
So I run a real estate company in Janesville and Madison here and have a lot of years experience in that business and training sales people in real estate, also coaching C-suite executives and sales forces on referral-based businesses or corporate infrastructure, scaling, that kind of thing, digital processes. So this is exciting. The show's exciting. It can really help all sorts of businesses that we'll get into, but I think, Nick, we're excited about just the potential of live streaming and how it can affect small business and even large business.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. We're going to be talking about a bunch of different examples and kind of use cases that people can do here. And really, our focus is on local business. Like, I'm sure a lot of people have started to hear about live streaming, as live streaming is kind of a thing that major companies are doing, major brands are doing, more internet marketers are doing. But now we want to really bring it to the local community and show how they can increase loyalty with their customers.
You know, when you think of live stream and really breaking it down to the bare bones of it, it's live TV for the masses. And it's without the satellite truck and the big gear and the big crew coming in, and it's small pieces of equipment. It's the access is so easy for small entrepreneurs, small business owners, employees in businesses, and it's a huge unlock, I think, for a lot of businesses, and the potential is exciting.
Oh, absolutely. And just to kind of give people a lay of the land here too, we're going to be talking about how you can do this more on the strategy concept and like how you can take some of the things that you already have in your pocket and really put some strategies in place to help bring more people into your local business. And right now, in case you don't know, we are in the pre-show. The show is going to begin in 30 seconds. We're going to get diving into our very first episode of the actual show. But just to let you know kind of what to expect is we are a weekly show. We'll be here every single week. We'll be live, and we're going to be live 5 minutes before the show actually starts to do kind of this pre-show time, which is really a chance to make sure we have everything working the way it's supposed to. We have lots of equipment here, so we want to make sure it's working, and then we want to make sure we have the chance to engage and interact with you. Well, with that, it is time to get started. Are you looking to grow your local business? Well, live streaming can be a great way to get leads and sales into your business. And on this weekly show, we're going to be talking all about how you can do just that. Hello and welcome to Live and Local. My name is Nick Palkowski, and I'm one of the hosts of this show, and this is
Brian Lawton. Welcome.
He is my fellow host, and Live and Local is a weekly show all about how you, as a local business, can really grow your business through live streaming. So we're going to talk all about growing your business, talk about lots of different strategies you can use, and how to really make the most of this unique tool that's going to allow you to connect with leads and potential customers and your current customers in a way that just hasn't been possible before. So I'm super excited to be diving into our first episode here today. And so, Brian, I guess to kind of kick things off, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about your backstory, who you are?
So I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Back to when I was a teenager, I can remember, making drawings and notebooks about businesses and that kind of thing, and it was a passion that always rested inside of me somewhere. And it took me a lot longer than a lot of people to realize that I had to do that, to just be who I am. And I own and operate a branch of a real estate company. I run an entire real estate company, have other small businesses that we've started along the way. And entrepreneurship really gets, to me, it gets at my family and my community, and it helps me connect to both of those in important ways in my life. And that's why I'm an entrepreneur and a business owner. And live streaming is a great unlock, like we mentioned in the pre-show, to help sort of scale those connections to family or whatever those whys are in your life, and to help business owners. So it's powerful.
Oh, it absolutely is. And yeah, it's really great. And I want to dive a little bit more into your story in just a second, but just to kind of give people an idea here, Brian and I actually own a business together now called Live Action Production. So it's a live streaming service business where we help you as local businesses, help you as people running events and conferences actually put on high quality live stream productions. And so that's one of the reasons we wanted to start this show, is to kind of share our passion around this topic, to share our belief in really storytelling and really adding value to a community in order to really increase relationships, get people to know, like, and trust you, and eventually become customers along the way. And so that's kind of a big reason of why this show is here, why we're here. And just to give you an idea, in today's episode, we're going to just give you some of our backstories, an overview of who both of us are, what our story is about, and then dive into why we really wanted to start this show, a little bit more about some of the things that you can do as a local business, and then we're going to really discuss kind of what to expect moving forward from the show and how you can actually be involved. And I guess with that, Brian, I want to dive in a little bit more to your business. So you mentioned real estate coaching, but how have you, I guess, what about it has really kind of hooked that passion piece, and then how does that kind of connect to live streaming?
So what about that is, growing teams, and for me it gets back to core values that I hold in my heart and deploy in our businesses, and our teams deploy in our businesses: help, gratitude, and mindset. And really the way this connects to live streaming is that help piece. So while we use real estate as a vehicle, and that's an industry that I'm very familiar with, and we run teams that are just exciting and powerful and all that within that, but this live streaming, this hook into that, is really about helping other businesses not only grow their business and sell their concept, sell their story, tell their story, but it also gets back to that gratitude piece, which we connect in our businesses and in our lives to community, and being grateful for the community we grow up in. And I think that live streaming, Nick, has a connection to that community. It's telling stories, as you just said, about everything going on in our local community. So when you take this live and local concept and we start helping people live stream, it really empowers that local community in a unique way, and kind of bonds it in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And I guess that's where my background really kind of comes in that piece is I've run a business. I run a business called Your Podcast Guru that is all about helping people share a message. And our main vehicle there is podcasting, audio podcasting. So it's all about helping people add value, helping people tell their story in a way that is going to allow other people to connect with it and then build that know, like, and trust factor. Right. I think we're going to be talking about that a lot in many different episodes. But yeah, it's really about building that so that then people are willing to become that customer and kind of move forward with you as a business owner.
Yeah, it's relationship building,
Exactly.
Whether it's podcasting, and it's interesting, podcasting, and I have a real estate company, a coaching business, there's so much real estate investing, you're involved in some other things. It doesn't matter the type of business. Live streaming can really help you reach a different audience. And the digital space has moved fast. I think we all know that.
Absolutely.
If you look at Amazon, started in 1995, now they have 500,000 employees. The iPhone, I think, was 2007, and then you saw, Snapchat in 2011, and things started to pick up with Instagram and Facebook and all these things. And we feel like digital has moved fast over the last 20 years, I guess. Yeah. But in reality, I think the next 5 to 10 years is when it's really going to move fast. We really haven't seen anything yet on how fast technology will be changing. And live streaming, this television for the masses, is one of those changes, and it's moving quickly as you look across all social media channels, no matter what it is that you're sort of spending your time in. Social media is a slang for the way we do business, and some people pawn that off on kind of the youngest person in the company or however they can get that done. But digital's moving fast, that's the point. Live streaming is going to take us to a new sort of era in our local businesses.
Yeah, and that brings up, I think, a couple of really key points. But before we get to those, I just want to know from you guys watching, have you ever gone live? Have you live streamed, whether it's just from your phone or from a bigger setup from your computer? Leave a comment letting us know if you've ever gone live. We're kind of watching and monitoring the comments here. I'd love to know. Simple yes or no would be great, letting us know if you've ever gone live at all. But for me, the two big things that kind of stood out from what you were saying is that, yes, the digital is moving fast. Things are changing constantly. Like even looking at podcasting, things are way different than, and like the strategies and some of the techniques and just the way you succeed in a podcast has significantly changed from when I initially started 4 years ago. But some key marketing and key principles have stayed the same. And I think that's always going to kind of be, no matter how things are changing, there are a few key principles that are going to be always at the core of solid, successful marketing.
Yeah, and we always say when we're hiring our teams, and as our industry in real estate as an example, that's one of the industries we play in. It used to be that we were in control as real estate brokers and real estate agents and companies of all of the information. You literally came in as a client on a Monday to see the new catalog of inventory that was released in each community. And that's the way you got your information, and that's evolved to national real estate sites, and really clients or customers that come to us know more information than you do.
Yeah.
A lot of times about homes. They've been in them in virtual tours or online data that they've pulled, and they know so much more. And so when we hire and we build teams, and as digital space is moving so fast and changing our industries, whether it's podcasting, real estate, whatever it is, we always say, like you're saying, there's a couple core things that are going to hold you together. And one is you're always going to need great people that work for you. I mean, no matter what the technology is, you need great people. And the other thing on the client side of that is the relationship building. And then that networking piece. And I think live streaming gets to both of those.
Oh, completely agree. And I think it's really powerful in terms of that relationship building. And I think that's something we're going to continue to see is people want that relationship with the businesses that they're working with. They want that there. They want to feel like they have a connection. And that goes for big brands. That goes for the mom and pop store on the street. But what live streaming and some of the other tech that we're going to kind of pull into that and the other strategies, and even some of the things that we're seeing here come in the future, messenger bots, things like that, are really a way just to create that relationship in a more authentic, more real way, and allow solo businesses or solo business owners to scale things in a way that has never been available before.
Yeah, we have access to just a crazy number of people in ways that we've never had before. And live streaming and teaching other business owners in the local markets how to live stream and how to do it effectively. And I think what we're missing here, we haven't really talked about, is that it's one thing to throw your iPhone on and you got that kind of jiggly holding a hand or putting it on a tripod of some sort and going live. That's one way to do it. And then what you just said, when you're talking about the artificial intelligence and the bots and the this augmented reality that's sort of coming for all of us, you can take that production piece pretty easily to the next level of really making it an elite touch. Because remember, it's a touch for your company, and you want to. And when you have those touches, whether it's a handshake or a conversation or the paper and emails you send out, all those touches are important to be at the level and standard for your business. And live streaming is no different.
Right.
It's a touch, and how you come across in the way you present your live stream says something about your business and your personality too.
Yeah, it absolutely does. So if you can add some of those more professional elements, if you can bring in lower third graphics with people's names on them, kind of letting them know who they are. If you can switch and do multiple cameras, we need to fix the resolution on that camera a little bit, but there it is. We can do this. This is something kind of neat. Or we can switch back to the main camera. We're also able to ask questions of people. So we asked you if you've ever gone live streaming before, a simple yes or no. Well, we can then see if people respond, and we can bring some of those comments on. So we can know that Cheryl has gone live before in the past, and we can start having a conversation with our community. So just start to think about what that can do for your business. You're going to be able to reach people in just a completely different way. So let's maybe talk a little bit more about what they can kind of expect from live and local here in the future.
Yeah, I think one of the things you can expect is that, how we can help a variety of businesses. It's not that we have to be an expert in a podcast or real estate investing, something like that. It's about how you can take that live streaming platform and really push to your digital channels and teaching you, no matter the industry you're in, to do that. So, one thing that comes to mind is a fitness, in the fitness industry. If you're a yoga instructor, if you own a yoga studio, how that might look if you live streamed 1 time per week, 4 times per month, and helping you learn, what do I even do? How long do I live stream? What does that look like? What content am I sharing? And really it's going to get back to just being you and knowing whatever those things are that you provide value, you contribute to your audience, to an audience. That's what we're after. So if you're a yoga instructor or you own a yoga studio, there's a lot of opportunity to grow your client base using live streaming. You can go through a yoga session, one time per month. Another time per month, you could interview a client or a group of clients about their experiences using yoga at your studio. A third thing is a teaching moment. You can teach maybe some tougher poses or just teach the importance of, that mindfulness or whatever that yoga angle that you have in your studio. And maybe another time you can just take an entire class and go to the live stream with it. If you have a 30-minute yoga class on Monday nights or whatever. So there you go. There's 4 episodes for your live stream that covers a whole month, and you can repeat that pattern throughout the year. And you start to build trust. You'll start to educate your community, your local community, and really contribute to that community, which is going to build that relationship, which is what we've been talking about.
Well, and I think the key thing to think about, too, just as you're a business owner in general, you likely have customers coming in with consistent questions. So you're getting the same 10 questions all the time. Maybe people for the yoga studio, maybe they're wondering, okay, how do I get started? What are the first few things I need to know? Well, as that yoga instructor, as the person in charge of the studio, you could walk somebody through an actual orientation piece. This is a brand new person to our yoga studio. We're gonna take them through. This is where the showers are. This is where whatever
the
you need.
MTV Cribs version.
Yeah, exactly. But just walk them through that experience, because I know for me, whenever I'm trying something new, going to a new workout place or anything else like that, I kind of want to know what the experience is going to be like. What can I expect the workout to actually look like? What can I expect to go in there? So I'm not going in there looking like a complete newbie, having to ask all kinds of questions to the people who are trying to just get their yoga on. It's important to kind of be able to give people that experience and answer the questions for them, I think.
Yeah, and the age of business that we live in, you think about companies that succeed, and at the end of the day, they sell time back to people, which is what you're hitting on right now. You are saving time for people, selling their time back to them by just live streaming. They don't have to necessarily come to your studio to check it out. They can check it out in their bed at 10:30 at night or whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? They can watch what your studio looks like, how you teach, the kind of instruction you give, and they can build that connection before they walk through your door. And when they walk through your door, they'll already have all that background knowledge and know that they're going to want to become a member of that studio, that fitness gym, the CrossFit gym, whatever that is. They'll have built that connection with you live streaming.
Yeah. So what if we're talking about some other industries? Because I'm sure people's wheels are starting to spin now a little bit. Like, okay, fitness, they can kind of see how that can work across the board. But how does that work for, say, real estate or something like that?
So in my industry, and we've given this a lot of thought and time, it is that you could do this on a few levels. You know, there's real estate investing, there's at the real estate brokerage level, so maybe you own a brokerage or you own a whole company, or at the real estate agent level, right? So let's take it down to the real estate agent level, which is what most of us are familiar with. And at that level, again, breaking it down to a show a week so it's not so overwhelming, and think about the things you could do. If you have an open house or a tour of a home, that could be one of the things, I think, Nick, that you take people through. You know, the virtual tour, or just, you know, being present at the open house, or a new listing you have, to give them that inside look, the description of it. You're live from that home. Not only does it provide an audience some information about that house and the way you are as a person, it also makes the client that has listed that house with you feel like they're getting extra value versus all of the other masses of real estate agents. What are you doing to sell their home? Guess what? I'm live streaming once a month from your home. That's one thing I'm doing. I'm current on digital things. So that's one thing you can do.
Well, and I think to that point too, like especially when you take some time to really think about it, really plan things out, and do it in a very professional way.
Thoughtful.
So yeah, maybe you're still, that doesn't necessarily mean you're bringing in extra cameras. It could, but maybe you're going from your phone, but you're doing it in a very intentional, very thoughtful way. And then you're having solid calls to actions, and maybe you're setting up things like bots and stuff like that to really easily transfer people over from a viewing audience to, okay, let's maybe make an offer on there, or go to the next steps to at least on this house, learn more about it, that kind of thing. Like, I think it's so cool.
Yeah, and that's from the client. So as an agent, you can provide that once a month. Another time a month, you can just instruct. You can teach your audience, your customers, your potential clients, on a topic about real estate, how to get their home ready for sale. In Wisconsin, it's thawing out, hopefully soon, not soon enough.
Not soon enough.
But, you know, what happens when we get that early spring thaw? Like, how does that affect the curb appeal of your house? You know, you can pick up a lot of different real estate topics, and you can teach one time a month through your live stream as well, which is another way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing people have to kind of realize. Really what you're trying to do here is just simply provide extra information and provide value in a professional way, in a way that maybe takes people behind the scenes, shows how things work, shows some of the processes that you have in place, but it is also done at a level that, you know, makes your brand look good.
Right, and you got to think about this, you know, as a marketing piece, as a business owner, and your investment into the digital space. Compared to running ads in paper and magazines, and, you know, the bus stops and sides of buses and billboards and all these things. This is different. I mean, this is where people are. They're in digital space. They want live video. They want audio space covered by their local businesses, and that is the live stream game. And I guess I want to back up a second for you. So maybe some other examples of industries that could use this, attorneys or restaurants. I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly all of the above.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
for sure. Right?
It's definitely where those think as as an attorney, as a law firm, like you can go out there and answer people's questions. Everyone, I know me personally, gets a little freaked out when we start talking about lawyer and law kind of stuff, and like we all kind of pull back a little bit.
Right.
But if you have a lawyer who is providing great information, talking about, okay, what are the next steps you need to take in starting a business, in starting your LLC, or you're a financial planner or a CPA, and you're talking about, okay, tax season is coming up. Here's how some of the key things you need to be paying attention to, need to know, and I'm going to provide you with all this information, all this great stuff. Well, if you're going to have another question, or if you're going to want someone to work with, you're going to likely reach out to that exact person because they provided all of that value.
You know, our family's in the time now where we're estate planning, or, you know, getting a will together, and all these things that you don't know about till you're a certain age level or whatever. And so I see a great unlock for attorneys. They seem, you know, sometimes to me, I mean, I have a lot of friends that happen to be attorneys, but so I have maybe a different view. But, you know, sometimes they do. They seem like there's a barrier that you got to leap before. I mean, They're real people. They have unbelievably great knowledge of things that can be helpful. And live streaming as an attorney, I see great value in that. Really teach, and it gets back to teaching and contributing to your live and local market, Nick, okay? So that no matter what it is, it's just that unlock. It doesn't matter what you're involved in. And an attorney is a great example of that. How much more calm you could make people to start talking about those topics and giving them some contribution and background knowledge on it.
Yeah, well, and even thinking about the estate planning you're talking about, I mean, I'm sure you said you have friends who are lawyers, but I'm sure many people, when they're thinking about estate planning, are just like, how do I even choose someone to help me with estate planning?
And what are the questions I even need to ask?
Yep, exactly. Like, you don't even know where to start. So if you have a lawyer out there who is proactively saying, hey, this is how you choose an estate planning attorney. Like, this is how you figure out if this person is a good fit for you, if this person actually knows what they're talking about. Like, these are the things you need to answer and need to look for. Well, most likely, if you're the person providing that information to them, likely you're going to be checking all the boxes that they need to look for when they're going after an estate planning attorney. So they're likely going to follow up with you and end up working with you. It is about adding value and then hopefully leading them down that funnel.
Adding value and then contributing to that community and knowing that you're involved in the community. And I'm going to take it to another industry, restaurants. I mean, the things you could do live streaming restaurants, just simple. One time a week, 20 to 30 minutes a week, which isn't a big time commitment. You don't want to make it, the barrier of entry is not great here. Your seasonal menu changes. You can go over just the menu. You can live stream with your lead chef or your
the inspirations for the menu. Like, why did you make this food? Like, that's a perfect one too.
The local sourcing of the food or whatever your little niche is in real estate, or not in real estate, in restaurant. And then also you think about your drink menus or having a mixology class with your lead bartender, or those are things you can bring and provide, again, contributing, educating, and building relationships with potential clients and to build your network. Because people are hanging out in social. They're hanging out here. This is where business is done now. And I don't think enough people have caught up to that yet. But it's here, and this is where more local businesses need to be playing.
Oh, I completely agree. And people want to see the behind the scenes. They want to see the process. So one of the other shows that I run is called Downtown Madison Life, where we interview local businesses, talk about their stories. Some of the ones that get the most views are those restaurants, those things like that. Yeah,
wine and
the experience.
Beer.
Like, people just want to know about the food. I'm a big foodie too, so I love it. But they want to know about the food, about the drinks. They want to know about the events that are happening and kind of see behind the scenes what it takes to put on that orchestra concert. Like, those are the things that people are really interested in. So if you are a restaurant, if you are a local chamber of commerce, even, like, these are all things that you can be thinking about. You can attract a lot of people to your show on a regular basis just by talking about some of the things that are happening in the community and some of the things that I think you take for granted.
You just hit on one, a chamber of commerce. The value there to provide is to connect businesses to their communities.
Yeah.
And people are playing in digital space constantly, and live streaming is an important part. So, a chamber of commerce, whether it's here in the city of Madison or the local outlying communities, talk about right up your alley is live streaming, connecting to your businesses, your membership, to your community. And live streaming is an unbelievably great way to do that.
Yeah, and if you're watching, let us know what businesses would you like to see live stream? What business is in your local community? Do you have questions about that you would love to see kind of the behind the scenes of? I would love to know some of your answers for that. I know for me, I just really enjoy seeing a lot of the different, especially the restaurants. Like, that's always awesome for me. But I'm loving learning, and I get kind of a unique perspective running the show that I do, but I'm loving learning about some of the community organizations. Like the actual, and like the nonprofit organizations, like what they're doing to really make an impact in the community, and because these are people who generally really love the community, love the people.
Yeah, well, and then you think of universities and education and the platform there, and the importance maybe to live stream about what's going on campuses or in the nonprofits. Whether it's, you're into the arts and entertainment nonprofit industry or whatever those nonprofits are that are giving back to the local community. What a great platform for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Brian, let's kind of bring this around and let people know a little bit about they can expect from this show moving forward. So, like we mentioned, this is a weekly show. We will be live every single Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Central Time. And in case you are just jumping in live, what's basically happening is we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we go live with a pre-show at 1:55. So we have 5 minutes of kind of a pre-show, which is allowing us to connect with people, make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to, and then we start the show right at 2 p.m. where we dive into a lot of the real big content.
Right, and what the goal of the show is to help you, the viewer, understand live streaming in a more detailed, complex way, how it can be applied to your specific situation, no matter the industry you're in, no matter what type of business you're involved in, whether you're the owner or an employee or a community member. There's lots of ways and applications to live streaming, and our goal is to help you navigate through the live streaming process.
Yeah. And so if you want to be sure to get notifications when we go live, if you're on Facebook here, all I want you to do is type in show in the comments. You're going to get a messenger bot that is going to make sure to notify you every single time that we go live. So just type the word show in the comments here on Facebook. If you're on YouTube or anywhere else, simply head over to liveactionproduction.com and you can follow the process there. We'll make sure that you get notified every single time that we go live. And then if there are a few of you podcast buffs out there, like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, I run a business that does podcasting for other businesses. I love podcasts. So we're also going to be turning this into both an audio podcast and then a video podcast that'll be available across the different podcast directories in your different podcast apps. Probably a couple of weeks before we actually get that piece live and up and running, but be sure to look for it there as well. Awesome. Well, Brian, I guess, do you have any final words to kind of wrap things up? Any final pieces of information you'd like to leave our listeners with? Yeah,
it's an exciting time to be a business owner, to be an entrepreneur, and live streaming is going to play such an important role as the digital landscape moves either really quickly with us or completely passes us by, which is what should put a little bit of fear in any responsible entrepreneur, is that digital's moving fast. Get in it, start using it. And so my word of advice is, come here as a place to learn, and it's the contribution we're offering our audience is just to help learn about live streaming.
Absolutely, and I want to just again mention, be sure to check us out next week when we go live on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Time. Join us on Facebook or YouTube, and I want to just encourage all of you to go out there and just go live sometime this week. Test it out, grab your phone, just test it out what that could mean, even if it's just on your personal profile. Just start getting used to that. Just start putting things in action.
Start failing, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
failing.
how you're gonna improve. That's how you're gonna get things better. It's all about testing, iterating, and making improvements because it's
take action.
Yeah, people want to connect with the real you. So go take action and go live, and we will see you next week.